time, I'm going to go ahead and just continue my warm Hollins welcome to each and every one of you here with us this evening. It has been a beautiful day on campus, and as President Hinton said at the beginning of the call, in this season of gratitude, we are so grateful to each of you for making time to be with us here tonight. We have a really wonderful program planned. We've had some great questions submitted in advance. We have several students on our screen who are going to be joining us. But first, we're going to hear from President Hinton. And as we move through the program, if you do have questions, at the bottom of the screen, there is a Q&A button. You are welcome to use that to submit questions. And we will gladly look forward to answering those as we have time at the end of the program. But for now, welcome again. Thank you for being here. And I'm delighted to pass the microphone over to President Hinton.
Well, good evening, everyone. I am thrilled that you are here with us this evening. I am hoping that you are seeing my full screen. Is that right? Or are they seeing all of my wonderful notes, Lauren?
We are seeing your notes right now, President Hinton.
Okay, well, we are going to...
The good news is, I'll just speak for myself, they're very small, so I am not able to read them.
Well, you know what? I can make them bigger. That's no problem. It just takes a moment here. We've had quite a few Zoom adventures today. I'll put it that way. I think Zoom is upset with us about something. I'm not entirely sure what, but it has certainly taken its toll with us today. So we will make certain that we get this going exactly the way we want it to be. But I want to start by repeating something that I said a little bit earlier in our time together today. I mentioned that it's interesting to be together with the Hollins family right after Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is a time when you're together as a community, when you're with your family and friends. And I think it would have felt incomplete to me had I not had an opportunity to be with my Hollins family and friends. So to all of you who made time for us this evening, thank you for joining us. It is a thrill to be with you. It was indeed a beautiful day here in Roanoke, and I think we're in for a real treat this evening as well. So welcome, everyone. I want to start our conversation by just sort of acknowledging something that I believe is true, and this sort of sets the framework for our conversation this evening. And it's a quote that says, if you wish to be happy, you can begin by thinking, everybody has something good in them. There's something that I can learn from every human being. And that's the spirit with which we gather this evening, with the belief that all of us bring something wonderful and valuable and unique to the table, something good, something that enriches the lives of one another. And to me, that is the strength of the Hollins community. We come together, we support one another, and we enrich one another's lives. So thank you for joining us, and just know that that's the spirit with which I share this update this evening. And I had a small group gather today who also agreed to say a big hello this evening, and this comes from a familiar looking group.
We can see their mouths moving, Mary. We just can't.
Oh, you can't hear them. Well, that was a quick video. I won't repeat it. This was today's Ada announcements. And Ada was very excited, and they said that Ada wants alums. And so as you can see, we continue to gather in our purple. Yeah, so, and alums want announcement. So they wanted to send that along, and a big thanks to Ada for their Tuesday announcements. So I just wanted all of my Ada friends who were listening to know that we were talking about you today. And perhaps we can come back to that. As Lauren indicated, the sound wasn't great, but I did want you to know that Ada was thinking of you and holding you close in their hearts this afternoon. So the way we'll go through our time together is I will just share a few campus updates. I'll go through them pretty quickly. Dr. Nakeshia Williams will talk about one particular section. I'll wrap up those announcements. Then I'm going to ask just a few questions of our wonderful students that we have here with us this evening. so that you can hear directly from them. And then we'll do Q&A with you all. We have some questions you've already submitted. We have other questions that you can drop into the Q&A or chat right now. And so why don't we start with something that we often hear the most questions about, and that is, tell us about the first year class. Well, we have a wonderful first year class, and you'll meet one of them momentarily. We welcome 210 students to Hollins this fall. It's a class that is absolutely amazing. They bring great spirit, deep curiosity, and a well of creative energy to our campus. We are so fortunate to have those students here with us this year, and I am really, really thrilled about that. You'll note that we also have seen a slight increase in our international enrollment over this fall. So we have 14 international students, and we also have a few domestic students who grew up in other countries. So we represent 19 countries and 43 universities, 43 states and territories. One thing that you'll also note is that Hollins looks like the world right now. Right now, about 448 of our students identify as either first generation, which means neither their parents went to college, as coming from a low-income family, or students of color. So Hollins looks very much like the world around us. And I know each and every one of you on this call would be thrilled to meet with any of our students. And while we have undergone a demographic shift, what you'll find is that the heart of the students at Hollins is exactly like the hearts of our many alums. Our students care deeply, are fiercely academically talented, and aspire to change the world. We have a total enrollment this year of 694 undergraduate students and 113 graduate students. And so we're really excited. It's a pretty full house, though I'm always anxious to have more here on campus. We're really excited about our community today. Now, one of the things that we were most excited about this year was that we would have our first class of Hope Scholars joining us. Now, as you know, HOPE stands for Hollins Opportunity for Promise Through Education. It's a wonderful new program that's geared towards young women in the Roanoke Valley. So for students who apply and are accepted to Hollins, they can then apply for the HOPE program if they live within a 40-mile radius. Preference is given to families whose incomes are less than $50,000 annually. If a student is accepted as a HOPE Scholar, they are able to attend Hollins, thanks to your generosity, tuition-free for 4 years. So we were thinking we would get 7 or 8 HOPE Scholars this year. Well, 31 students later, we are really very proud of this first cohort of HOPE Scholars, and you can see their bright, shining faces, all manner of peace signs and brightly colored hair. These 31 students now call Hollins their academic home, and we are thrilled to have our HOPE Scholars with us, and they are amazing. If you visit our website, you'll hear about a couple of our HOPE Scholars like Sydney Light or B. LaLane. They're wonderful videos about Sydney and B talking about their journey to Hollins. But we have a HOPE Scholar with us this evening who I'm going to ask if she'd be willing to unmute and maybe jump in for just a moment. So I am thrilled to introduce you all to Bailey Berger. So Bailey, I want to just start by telling you directly what I often say about you. No one in the world has a bigger, brighter smile than Bailey Berger. When you see Bailey on campus, see, there you go. She just lights up. I've seen Bailey at all manner of traditions and activities, and it has been a joy getting to know you, Bailey. Bailey, I was wondering, would you just tell us 1 or 2 minutes about what the HOPE Scholarship means to you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for such a sweet introduction. Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm a first year. So I grew up with a twin sister who is the same age as me. And when we were starting to apply for college, it was kind of apparent to both of us that we were going to have to find something out beside going to figure something out when it comes to aid, because we did have 2 of us going to college at the same time. So Hollins was my front runner for sure. I was super, super excited. I'd always like been around it because I'm local, I'm in the area. And the email when I got my Hope Scholarship was just an absolute, like, it was a dream come true, because Hollins was one of my first schools. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it, but this scholarship really made my dreams come true, and it allowed me to go to the school for a full 4 years that I really, really, really wanted to go to. And it just means the world to me. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Bailey. You make our community, as do all of our students, you make our community brighter. Bailey is going to school full time. And Bailey, do you also work? Is that a thing that you do?
Yes, ma'am. I'm actually going back to work right after this meeting is over.
That's right. So Bailey works full time. She has a full-time job. You can find her in Bonsack. And I just, again, want to say that it is such a joy to have this opportunity. I remember meeting you and your mom on Front Quad last spring. And the folks who made the Hope Scholarship possible are here with us this evening. And I trust that they feel as proud as I am to have you and 30 of your colleagues here with us this year. So welcome, Bailey. And I will take you off the spot right now, and we'll go back to the PowerPoint. I know you have to drop off at some point, but I really, really appreciate you making the time to be here with us this evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Bailey. So the way that we have been able to really continue to grow Hollins locally in the region, in Virginia, and in the Southeast is through some really powerful partnerships that we're developing to help us identify and bring students to Hollins. We've continued to expand our pipeline so that we can bring in classes of students who, again, are incredibly academically talented, who are athletes, who will become campus ministers, who will go abroad, students who aspire to be neurosurgeons or teachers or economists. And we find them in places like Total Action for Progress or Boys and Girls Club or Girls on the Run of Central Virginia. We were awarded this past Friday a grant from the Teagle Foundation to implement a Knowledge for Freedom program. This is a national program that brings high school students to college campuses to study for a summer. So we're doing that. We are working across the country with a variety of programs to identify and bring students to Hollins University. So whether it's our local Hope Scholars, of which we are so proud, or students from California who come to us because they're wonderful writers, we are thrilled to have the students that we have here at Hollins and continue to build deep and important partnerships to build our student base and our pipeline. So I happen to mention our writers, and we have had a really great writing season. Some of you may know I've recently become a writer myself, and I may be a little biased, but the horse on the right side of the screen, on my right anyway, who has on the Hollins blanket is a certain My Way. That's his name, who I woke up this morning and ran to go give peppermint candies to. But our writing team has met with great success this semester. I'm incredibly proud of them. Our track and field team, along with volleyball and soccer, have done incredibly well. Last year, we had about 6 all academic athletes here at Hollins. We're so excited about what our students are able to accomplish in the ring, on the field, on the court. They're really doing an exceptional job. So we're very excited about that. And of course, I think the highlight of everyone's semester was climbing Tinker Mountain. And you'll see some of the folks we're talking to tonight. Egypt is there in her trusty cow costume. We climbed the mountain and we celebrated, and we had a great time. So I start with these fun things so that you know that the campus is thriving. We are doing really well. We're so grateful for all of you, but we never forget that the center of the Hollins University experience is our academic program. So I want to move away from some of the fun stuff and talk a bit about the heart of what we do. And that's our academic program. And as you can see, there's been a bit of a transition here at Hollins, and that we're seeing more and more STEM majors coming to Hollins University. That aligns with the push towards women in STEM, and we're certainly grateful for that. That we continue to identify, welcome, and support those in creative arts and the humanities. Psychology is a very big major these days. We're excited about that. But I'm thrilled that we continue to see the breadth that a liberal arts education offers, and we see it reflected in our students. On our graduate program side, and I want to make sure that we hold up our graduate program, you'll see that creative writing, education continue to be among our larger programs on the graduate side. We have many in film writing and playwriting, screenwriting, and you'll see that about 2/3 of our graduate students are doing some form of online learning. And we graduated 45 graduate students in the spring, which we're very excited about. I was at our dance performance a couple of weekends ago, which included many of our graduate students, and it was lovely. So our grad programs continue to thrive as well. Whether you're thinking about graduate education or undergraduate education at Hollins, what you can trust is that we have the liberal arts at our core. And we don't believe that there's any bifurcation between liberal arts and career readiness. Rather, we believe that the liberal arts prepares you not only for your first job, but for a lifetime of leadership. And it does that because, as you all know better than anyone, the liberal arts teaches you critical, analytical, and creative thinking. You learn about teamwork and leadership. You learn about ethical reasoning and decision-making, and then you put that in place. And you do that by being innovative and creative in your pursuits. We are teaching digital literacy because we know that our graduates are going to live a lot of their lives virtually. So how do we make certain that they're prepared for that? We engage diversity in all we do at Hollins. And so I want to assure you, as I said, the beating hearts of our students is unchanged, and our deep commitment to the liberal arts remains vibrant and unchanged as well. In fact, you'll also find that we have a deep engagement in our core curriculum, and we've updated our core curriculum. It will begin to unroll in the fall of 23. We will implement the new core curriculum in phases, and we're very, very excited about that. You'll notice a couple of things about our new core curriculum, and that's the curriculum that every Hollins student takes. You'll notice that it has deep learning in the first year, helping students understand communication, what it takes to be successful in college, learning how to navigate conflict and collaboration so that they can be leaders on campus and off. We then really dive very deeply into critical thinking and communication across the liberal arts. So you can see some of the courses there, courses like Thinking Like a Scientist. So we know that everyone needs to be able to look at scientific information and make sense of it. But just as important is understanding global languages, is understanding how do we tell our own story and how do we listen to the stories of others. We have courses on understanding your purpose in life and a series of toolkits to equip students to go out into the world, understanding how to engage in a career search, how to use technology, how to take care of their minds, bodies, and spirits, and how to be financially literate. So we are really covering the waterfront in our new core curriculum, and we're so excited. We'll be unveiling the first year courses in the fall of 23, and then we'll implement the core curriculum over a couple of years. There's a deep and wonderful experiential learning requirement, so every student will have an experiential learning opportunity, and we're very excited about that as well. One of the most popular experiential learning opportunities at Hollins is undergraduate research. And here you see a group of students who spent their summer at Virginia Tech as part of our student undergraduate research fellows. We've had great success partnering with universities like Virginia Tech, but also doing our own research on campus as well. And the research is not just in STEM fields. We do research across all of our fields, whether it's theater or religious studies or English and creative writing. We're really proud to equip our students with the ability to go out into the world, some with a peer-reviewed publication based on their interest. We also continue to promote our internships, which each one of you are critical to. So last year, 21% of our students, I apologize, that went ahead a little bit too fast there. 21% of our students did an internship, and the top locations were here in Virginia, DC, and New York. We also resumed study abroad last year with 129 students studying abroad at some point, either for a semester or a short-term course. It ranged from Kenya to Spain to Costa Rica to St. John. We were all over the map last year, and we have students abroad right now. And we're very excited to be able to engage in that type of study now that we are in a different phase in the pandemic. Our graduate programs are also introducing some new and exciting efforts. They launched a Master of Arts in Theater and New Play Development this past summer, which was a wonderful success thanks to Todd Ristow. We've just announced a new post-baccalaureate certificate in ceramics that we're very excited to launch. And we are preparing to launch our Master of Arts in Equity and Healthcare in the fall. So we're super excited about these new graduate programs on the horizon as well. And just because I love this photo, I want to lift up one of our graduate students, Tiffany Golden, who is a grad student in children's literature and illustration. And this is one of her pieces, which is just lovely. But I want to make sure I celebrate our grad students also. So what you've heard so far is that we've been really busy. We have a lot of students. We're granting access in new and amazing ways, thanks to each of you. But critical to the success of Hollins or any higher education institution is not just making sure students are able to come into our community, but making sure that we are equipping them with what they need to be successful. That means to be academically successful, personally successful. It means a healthy sense of well-being and belonging. And so one thing that we announced at the end of last year was the creation of a new area called Student Success, Well-Being, and Belonging. We spent all of last year doing research about what it would mean to be a leader in supporting student success. And we landed at Student Success, Well-Being, and Belonging. That area is now led by Dr. Nakeshia Williams. You'll know her because she was formerly our Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. But if anyone was ever tailor-made to be the VP of Student Success, Wellbeing, and Belonging, it's Dr. Nakeshia Williams. And so I'm going to ask her to unmute and just share a little bit about what this area is focused on and how we go from there. Dr. Williams.
Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to join in this conversation with you all today. And thank you for allowing me the opportunity to talk about this new division of student success, well-being, and belonging. And so this area is comprised of several other departments, including health and counseling services, which we outsource to Carilion Clinic locally in Roanoke. The Dean of Students, and under the Dean of Students purview, we have Housing and Residence Life, as well as the Honor Board. We also have Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, along with Belonging. We have a chaplain and director of Belonging who are all a part of the DEI Belonging Department, as well as our director of HU Connect, Hollins University Connect, which supports our first generation limited income and students of color here at Hollins University, along with academic success. And Michael Gettings, Dr. Michael Gettings, who's a former dean of academic success, who's now Associate Vice President of Student Success, is leading the academic success department, who also supports our student tutors here on campus, who Michael has a dotted line report to academic affairs, who reports directly to our provost. We know that, as President Hinton just mentioned, that in order for our students to be successful, that also includes for them to be successful both in the classroom and outside of the classroom. So eliminating or de-siloing those conversations between and among faculty and academic affairs, along with what's happening with students outside of the classroom, is of equal value and equal importance to our students, as well as supporting their emotional, social, physical, and spiritual well-being. Has been of dire importance to us here at Hollins, along with helping our students to foster a sense of belonging. with them asking, where are their people, right? And finding groups of people or individuals or groups or clubs where they find affinity and like-mindedness, where they can find their space at Hollins. So what this means for us is we create this pathway forward. Now we're still in the process. This is our dream big moment here, right? And so what we're focused on within student success, well-being, and belonging is promoting social connectedness between and among our students, also providing success coaching, because we know that our students are also managing their own mental and emotional well-being. And how does that translate into their academics, and how does that help support and uplift their academics? So we want to offer success coaching for our students. We also know that research supports that where there are 3 to 5 touch points, whether that's via email, phone call, or in person, it helps to support students being successful in the higher education arena. We also want to support our students to deepen their reflective resilience. They come to the university with intersectional identities and life experiences. And how do we help promote that and support them being resilient and learning to fail forward, is what I like to often say. We also, and something we launched this semester, is we piloted a life skills program, a curriculum within housing and residence life. So how do we continue to scale the scope of this life skills program for our students and really help to strengthen and deepen what that looks like for them? We also want to increase our parent and guardian engagement. This semester, we launched a parent and guardian newsletter. So that's really something exciting that we're building upon in academic affairs. This is the Division of Student Success, Wellbeing, and Belonging in our Marketing Communications Department. We're also, you heard me mention de-siloing. How do we work in a collaborative, integrated way with other divisions to help support the holistic development of students? We're also interested in, this is where we need you too, right? Mentorship, internships are very important, but we also need you to, as alums, to be mentors to our students, because you've been where they are and you are where they want to be, right? So helping them in this capacity is also of vital importance to us as well. We're also interested in helping to increase our students' help-seeking behaviors. We know that oftentimes it's difficult to ask for help. Sometimes, in addition to managing students' emotional and mental health as well, but asking for help can be difficult for many, many people. What we're also doing is, and everything that we're talking about in terms of creating a path forward is really anchored in evidence-based practice and research. We're not doing it because Nakeshia thinks this is the best thing to do, right? Everything we're doing is because research supports the efficacy of the programming and initiatives that we are engaging in here at Hollins University. So we're anchoring many of our impact practices into what's called culturally responsive high impact practices, where we're meeting students where they are, wherever that may be, right? And promoting students' mental and emotional well-being through a public health model of mental health services. These are several initiatives that we've also launched this semester, which one is an all-in democracy challenge here at Hollins, where we're really promoting student engagement and civic engagement in the electoral process here in the United States. Hollins, I'm very proud to say this, that Hollins University is now an American Association of Colleges and Universities Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation Center. We are one of 16 institutions that have been named as a TRHT Center for AAC&U for this 2022 academic year. And while we're focusing on students' mental and emotional well-being, we also have partnered with JED Campus, which is JED Campus Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that really focuses on student K through 12, as well as colleges and universities' mental and emotional well-being.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. So we're really busy in that area and are super proud of all that we're able to accomplish. And I know we're running low on time, so I'm going to run through so I can get to the students' questions. But I hope that gives our alums a sense of all of the things that we're undertaking on behalf of our students to make certain that Hollins is able to serve our students well. I'm smiling at Leah and Amnia and others, Liz, there in that photo. So just a few more campus updates, and then I will ask our students just a couple of questions. So one thing, if you are flying over Hollins, you will now see near the tennis courts, our new track is nearly complete. The base is there. We will add the rubberized running surface in the spring when it's a little bit warmer out. But we're so excited about what our track and field team has been able to do, and we're so grateful for the support we received to put in our new track. If you are over by the barn, you won't see this building because it's sitting on a truck somewhere in Germany. But hopefully by the spring, this building will be here. We await one piece. This is an exerciser lunger. It will really allow us to exercise our horses more frequently. It will free up space in the indoor ring. It will help make us more competitive. It will help strengthen our riding program. So that building, you can certainly see the place that's been excavated for it to sit, but we are awaiting that building's arrival. It's a little caught in some supply chain issues, but we're very excited about what that portends for our riding program. I know many of you have had questions about the Wyndham Robertson Library, and I just want to say a quick hello to Wyndham Robertson. I know she's on, and I want us to just take a minute and talk about our beloved Wyndham Robertson Library, which is such a beautiful, beautiful building. We recognize, and as Dr. Williams just shared, that one of the most important things we can do at Hollins for our students, both ethically and financially, and for Hollins' future sustainability, is to retain our students so that they can persist through graduation. And we know that the best way to retain our students is to make sure that we are intentionally connecting them with the resources that they need to be successful. And that no longer means in higher ed finding what you need. It means intentionally placing in front of students the services that they need. We also know that we need to make sure we're more carefully coordinating and providing services to students. So what we started with was really trying to think through how can we maximize the great work in student success, well-being, and belonging, the outstanding work with the Rutherford Center, which includes career development, undergraduate research, and global programs. How could we find a way to co-locate these services so that we could improve student success and persistence? And at the same time, we saw that we had a utilization concern in the library, and Luke Villel has been so cogent in explaining this to folks and so articulate in explaining it. You know, the library should be the beating heart of a campus, and we just weren't seeing a lot of utilization of the library. So even during exam period on reading day, which is typically the highest use day of the year for a library, we were only having 100 individuals in that space. So we began to think through how can we both meet the needs of our students and utilize this beloved, and it is truly a beloved space on campus. And so we are proposing some changes. I'm not going to read through all of these, but as you can see, the list of what stays the same is much longer than the list of what's changing. So I'll talk a little bit about what's changing. We're actually enhancing the study spaces on all of the floors. We know we've heard from students that they like spaces that are more comfortable, spaces where they can be by themselves, but also engage with their colleagues. We're going to add some new classroom space, some storage space, and a podcasting studio on the ground floor. The first floor will house the Rutherford Center and Student Success, Wellbeing, and Belonging. We're also going to move our children's literature collection there so that it's more prominently displayed, because that is part of the heart and soul of Hollins. And then we'll have two new offices on the second floor for Vice President Gettings, Associate Vice President Gettings, and our accessibility team. And then on the third floor, Dr. Williams and our Title IX coordinator will be there. But as you can see, the majority of the library is staying the same. This is a rendering that's kind of hard to see, but the big changes will be here on the first floor. Where you see my cursor right now, or those green boxes, those are stacks right now. And so those stacks will move. We have plenty of space to move them to. And this is a rendering of what it will look like. So it's just an opening up of the space so that we have more students utilizing the library. We have Student Success and the Rutherford Center co-located, the Center for Learning Excellence, and I think there are actually going to be some glass walls replaced there, and DEI, so that it's a hub for students to be together. So we're very excited about that as well. And let me wrap up with my last two things before I go to the students. You know, one thing that I've learned about Hollins alum is they always want to know, how can we help? Well, a couple of things. Mark your calendars. If this is your reunion year, mark your calendars. So reunion this year will be May 26th through the 28th. I happen to know one of the people in this photo, Nancy, is right here on the call with us this evening. I can't wait for reunion. It is easily one of my favorite Hollins traditions. So mark your calendars for that. And then today is Giving Tuesday. So I would be remiss if I didn't say, tell all of your friends to please think about making a gift. You can help us in so many ways. If you want, you can go online for Giving Tuesday. That's a wonderful way to support Hollins. We also have a QR code that you can scan if you'd like to make a gift that way. If you're unable to give, perhaps you could refer a student to Hollins, or maybe you could tell your story or be a mentor. There are so many ways to give back to Hollins, and we know that our alums give and care for us every day, and I just want to thank you for that. So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to ask Zoe, Egypt, Jaya, Bailey, and Israela, if my dream team of students who are there. How about we have a little conversation? And I've already introduced Bailey. I'm going to say a word about each of you, and then I'll ask you to just go around and introduce yourselves. And so I'll just say something quickly to the group so that they get to know you. So Zoe Simotas comes to us from California. Zoe works in the president's office and always comes in with a smile. And no matter what the task is that I put before Zoe, she's always able to do it with grace and aplomb. And I'll let Zoe tell you more about herself in just a second, but I wanted you to know that Zoe has a very special place in the heart. Next to Zoe on my screen is Egypt Matthews. So Egypt is a fellow Tar Heel who comes to us from Sampson County. Egypt always has a bright smile and is willing to climb Tinker Mountain in a cow costume. And I honor and support that, Egypt. Egypt is a member of ADA, and she'll tell you more about herself shortly. Jaya McMillan is the other president on campus. Jaya is SGA president. Jaya is a legacy student, and I'll let you tell, I'll ask you to tell folks all about your mom. Jaya, perhaps it's in her DNA, is certainly the epitome of a Hollins student, as are each of these folks on the screen. And I'm delighted to be leading Hollins alongside Jaya. You've met Bailey, but I can't wait to introduce Israela Friedline. Israela is from Charlotte, North Carolina. So you see us North Carolinians are sneaking in here one by one. What I will tell you about Israela that I don't think she would tell you herself is that on ring night a couple of weeks ago, Israela came to my house. One of her tasks was to take a photo with me, and she was dressed like me, and she had on green and gold, because every day green and gold. And I ended up finding the exact same outfit in my closet, and we baffled the world that we were dressed just alike on that day. Israela bleeds green and gold, and I'm glad she's here. So I'm going to maybe jump into a couple of questions, and as I ask each question, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourselves as we go through. Does that sound fair? Okay. All right. So my first question, and I'll go Zoe, Egypt, Jaya, Bailey, Israela. My first question is, when you think about your Hollins experience to date, what has been most meaningful to you individually? In what ways have you been transformed? So what's most meaningful, and how have you been transformed? And Zoe, I'll kick it off, and we'll just go Zoe, Egypt, Jaya, Bailey, Israela.
Sounds good. Thank you for the question and the wonderful introduction, President Hinton. Hello, everybody. Just briefly, a little bit more. My name is Zoe Snotis. I'm a second-year political science major, Spanish minor on the pre-law track. I was born and raised in San Francisco, California. On campus, I'm a hula tour guide. I work with President Hinton, and I'm also on the soccer team. So for what is most meaningful for me, a year and a half into my tenure at Hollins, I would say the ability and opportunities that I've had to work with and learn from everybody on campus from all walks of life. That includes my peers on the soccer team, peers in the classroom, President Hinton. Being from so far away, I've really had the opportunity to make Hollins my home and open up my perspective. And that's been very meaningful to me and has been transformative for me. I grew up with two parents that have lived in the San Francisco Bay Area their whole lives. So we do not have a ton of perspective as a family on other parts of the country, even things like that. And coming to Hollins, I've gotten to learn from so many different people that are from so many different places and have had each had a unique experience. And that's something that I will take beyond Hollins and will have with me for the rest of my life.
Yes, I really agree with you, Zoe. Hi, everyone. My name is CJ Matthews. I'm a senior here at Hollins. I am majoring in general business and English literature with a concentration in creative writing, and I'm involved in many different clubs on campus. But most prominently, I'm LCA, which is over all the CAs in our first year buildings and in the apartment village, and I dabble in BSU and the dance club here on campus. But as for the question, I really enjoy interacting with people here in Hollins. I think that's one of the main things that I was looking for when I came here. I was setting a table already for the friends I hadn't met yet. And I think there's so many people in life that we kind of miss. But here at Hollins, I treasure everyone that I've met, and I really cherish those interactions and conversations. And the most transformative thing I'd have to say is finding the power in my voice. I often talk about this. But I like to quietly influence. So I cheer people on from the sidelines and build people up and servant lead like that. But recently I found myself speaking up in different conversations, leading meetings, and really taking initiative. So that's something that's really special to me and transformative.
Hi everyone, my name is Jai McMillan. Like President Hinton said, my mom attended Hollins in '95, and I think she's on this call. So if you're here, hello, Mom. But something that she said before I even started college was that one of her greatest regrets was not being able to study abroad. And last spring, I had the opportunity to study abroad in Spain. I'm a Spanish major, and so getting to be immersed in the language and the culture of Spain was just transformative. It was really, really an incredible experience that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. The way that it changed my views of independence and self-sufficiency and being able to go places and do things was just incredible. So I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity, and I'm excited for others who will have the chance to study abroad like Israela.
All right, hi, I'm Bailey. You've already met me. I'm a first year. My college experience, my Hollins experience has been relatively short so far because I am just finishing up my first semester. But as a whole, just the difference in the experience that I have had here versus what I had previously had in high school and things like that, that has probably been the most transformative for me, just because this is such a different environment that I'm absolutely used to. I call Hollins like a pocket of peace. I don't know why, it just seems magical. And it's just overall, especially with all of the aspects of orientation and things like that, they've really gone out of their way to make us feel at home here. And I've really, really, really enjoyed that.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Israela. I am oh goodness, I can't speak right now. I am athletic chair on the roundtable, and I am a captain on the swim team. And I feel like being in that realm has been the most transformative thing for me. I became athletic chair after the athletic chair, my freshman year, who was a senior, who was leaving, said, hey, I think you would do really great with this. And I said, okay. And I did it. And she guided me through it, the whole process, helped me make my application. And then I found myself in this leadership position and kind of just hit the ground running. And the athletic director, Chris Kilcoyne, and all the coaches I've had 3 swim coaches in the past 3 years. Each of them have helped me so much, making the whole athletic chair position and working with the athletic department through all our changes and everything. And I have now like all these friends who are athletes, which it's funny because I never considered myself an athletic person. I thought I was like more of like a theater kid. So being entirely welcomed into this really cool group of people that is like, now it's like 150 or so of us. It's a really cool thing to identify as an athlete. Someone called me a jock the other day and it was like, whoa. And so that's been really transformative and helped me feel a bit more confident, but also learn about my leadership abilities. So yes.
Well, welcome to all of you. You all mentioned something about finding your voice or being seen or becoming leaders. So we often talk with prospective students about Hollins is the place where you'll develop your leadership perspective. And for our alums, what would you say to them if they're talking to a student who's considering Hollins? What advice would you give them? What would you say to a prospective student about what life is like here at Hollins? And so I'll actually go in the reverse order. We'll go Israela, Bailey, Jaya, Egypt, and Zoe. What's life like? How could our alums describe Hollins to their nieces or neighbors or friends?
Okay, so first, also I forgot to mention, I'm a junior this year, and I'm a communications and French double major. And I just recently switched to being a double major. I was first a communications and film minor, then studio art for like 5 days, and then international business. And I actually am still taking a business class, but I have switched it multiple times. But Hollins has made this learning process of figuring out what I want to study, what I want to do, really accessible and really like an enjoyable process. It was stressful coming in, not knowing anything. And so I feel like here it feels like, I don't know, like a family, like not necessarily, okay, maybe not a family, but like a really close-knit community that is wanting everyone to do well. And because of our size, I am able to like have like actual connections with my professors, and my French advisor, she was able to be there right with me through all of these transitions. And so it feels like if you wanted to tell a prospective student, I guess the biggest thing is like, it'll be okay. You can figure it out. And Hollins is going to be right there with you to figure it out.
That's the beauty of the liberal arts, right? Is you get to find your passions, your academic heart. You find that in the liberal arts. Bailey, what advice would you have as the newest member of our community?
Oh goodness, let me think. There's so many. I would personally, like Israela said, just be expecting to come into a very open community and a very close-knit community, and be open to new ideas, be kind of expect to learn some things, but also be able to kind of broaden your horizons. For new prospective students, I think you will be surprised by how close of a community we are, because we are on the smaller side. We are able to just like connect with one another much, much more than we were if we were on a massive campus. So that is something that I've really, really, really enjoyed, is how close of a community we are together.
Thanks, Bailey. Jaya.
I think for me, as a senior, I'm nearing my last fall semester at Hollins, and I think that something incredible is the beauty of the liberal arts. So I'm going to be echoing some of what Israela has said, but I think that the opportunity to take classes in a variety of subjects has been really, really enriching, from taking like a philosophy class to hand building ceramics to a human biology class, which I thought I would never have to do science again, but I was glad to take that and learn from a variety of perspectives and professors. It's just been really, really great to know that I've been able to take classes that I wouldn't have been able to take elsewhere, which has led to further opportunities. So I think that the advice that I would give is just to dive in, take as many classes across as many subjects as you can, because you're sure to find something new and something exciting in each subject.
Thank you, Jaya. Hi, Egypt.
Hello. I definitely agree with everything. I would give the advice of, you're significant just because you are, right? You're coming into this new thing. You don't know what to expect, and that's okay. But you don't have to have all the answers. As you can say, you can experiment, you have time, and it won't rain all the time. You know, you can find the sun, you can take a moment, trudge through the mud, watch it rain for a little bit, but you have to be good with yourself all in all. So take your time and you can do it.
Excellent. Thank you, Egypt. Egypt's chaplain, student chaplain as well, right? Egypt, are you engaged with that? So you can hear that in her advice to folks. You've got this, through the mud, through the rain. Zoe.
All right. I don't think I can say that as beautifully as Egypt did, but I'm definitely echoing a lot of what my peers have said, and that be open and say yes. Say yes to new classes, to new people, to new experiences. Opportunities for self-growth, I think, are also very important, and you'll find that at Hollins. And Hollins it's a family. It's a very strong community that's going to push you outside of your comfort zone, but only in the name of growth and advancing your education. And they're going to be there to pick you up when you fall. Everybody has a few stumbles along the way, but Hollins is here for you. And every member of the community, at least in my experience, is. And something that actually one of my professors, Professor Shanette, said to me today that really articulated well how I feel about Hollins is that this is your team. These are your people. They're not your competition. That's not the academic environment I'm coming from. I was taught that my peers were my academic competition, and at Hollins, they're not. And that's very empowering in all aspects of life.
Today, during announcements with Ada, we were saying we're going to finish strong. We've got 2 more weeks of classes. And we said, well, we may have to crawl across the finish line, but you know what? We're not crawling alone. We are together and we will succeed together. So I have to pause asking student questions, and Lauren's going to hop back on because I know we have questions from the group, and I want to just turn it over to Lauren. And students, you should jump in as we respond to questions. We'll handle them as a group, but let me thank you publicly for showing up tonight. You all always show up, and I really, really appreciate that. Lauren.
Thanks so much. Our first question, Mary, I'm just going to jump right in, is about the Hope Scholars and if they are able to live on campus.
So Hope Scholars are, Bailey, you go right ahead.
Sorry.
No, ma'am.
Yes, you are able to live on campus. Actually, a number of our Hope Scholars, at least the ones that I had met, are able to live on campus because they don't have the intense financial burden of also trying to pay for tuition. So it allows you to actually be even more immersed without the stress of having to make tuition payments and things like that. So it actually, yes, you are able to live on campus.
And about 1/3 of our Hope Scholars do live on campus. So the Hope Scholarship covers tuition. Students would have to cover room and board, but we didn't want to make that contingent because we really wanted to make sure students who needed the scholarship could get it. So about 1/3 of our Hope Scholars live on campus. And clearly Bailey's already suiting up for the job. So you did a great job there, Bailey. Beautifully done.
Watch out. Bailey is going to be running our next webinar.
All of them. So. I call them all future presidents. You're looking at the future leadership of Hollins University on this screen.
There's a question now, Mary, and our students about what other academics, what are the other course requirements and how our focus is remaining on academics. I know we talked a lot in the presentation about our social and life skills, but we have several alumni who would love to hear a little more about that, please.
Yeah, the academic curriculum, as I said, that is always going to be the heartbeat of a college or university. We have 29 majors that students can choose from. And I think Israela really illustrated an important point in her comments. Students come in thinking they're going to major in one thing. And for some students, they continue on that journey their entire time. But for many students, they encounter a course or professor that ignites something new in them and they change their paths. I see some smiles. So Ajaya, you smiled knowingly when I said that. You want to talk a little bit about your academic journey through Hollins?
I started off as a political science major, and I was absolutely certain I was going to enter the world of politics. But through Professor Chanette, who Zoe mentioned a little bit earlier, I decided that I think a path through law is very, very interesting to me. And then also my academic advisor, Professor Ridley, who's been here forever. I love her so dearly. She taught my mom. And now that I have the opportunity to learn from her as well, it's just been really, really wonderful. She's like one of the sweetest people ever. So it's been really, really great to get to learn from her.
Absolutely. Does anyone else want to chime in about any major changes or about how you're working with faculty?
I've had a few opportunities with faculty that have been really exciting. Also through the Spanish program and Professor Ridley, she is very near and dear to my heart. I've fallen in love with the Hollins Spanish program. I'm the only person in my class currently that didn't take Spanish in high school, but I'm also one of few people that will be continuing on through getting a minor and maybe, if I can swing it, a major in Spanish, but we're gonna see. And then also through different research projects and opportunities that I've had. My first year seminar professor has since retired, but as Hollins professors tend to do, are still around. So I will be going on a trip to Greece with him and another professor for J-term. And that research project and trip is an extension of research that I did in my first year seminar class. So I think just making all of those academic connections across different disciplines. My first year seminar professor was in the communications department. The other professor we're traveling with is in classics. I'm a political science major. So we're making all of these cross-cutting connections through academic programs. And that's been very important and exciting for me.
Absolutely. That Greece J-term trip sounds amazing. With Tina Salloway and Chris Richter will be headed off to Greece. So we're excited. So know that the academic program is thriving. And I think our core curriculum is one example of that. But across the curriculum, you find faculty who are dedicated, who are actively engaging in research, who engage students in that research, and who are leaders in their field. So we are not only holding the course academically, I think we're actually an aspirant institution for many others when we look at what our Hollins students are able to accomplish.
That's great. Thank you. I want to jump now. We have a couple of questions. Lots of excitement about the programs coming out of your office, Nakeshia, and specifically the mentorship and need for alumni to engage. Is there a formal process for alumni who are interested? And if you could tell us a little more about how we would get people signed up and exactly what you're looking for.
Yes, absolutely. So Chanel Sears, who's our director of our HU Connect program, will be leading the mentorship initiative this spring. Additional information is forthcoming regarding who you are, your class, what year you graduated, what your major was, and so forth. And that's something that I can share with Lauren, who can share out formally with you all in the spring of 2023. But thank you so much for your interest. We love money, but I love you volunteering as well. Thank you so much.
It's so important. And Chanel and I have been talking about that and are very much looking forward as the framework for that comes together of pulling everyone in. And it's a great opportunity to give back and so important. And as you can see, I'm learning every time from our students. Before we close out, we have a couple of shout outs. An alum, Donna Fuller, is so excited, Zoe, to meet someone from San Francisco. She wants us to spread the word in California to fall in love with Hollins. So I welcome any help you can provide to us, Zoe, but anyone else on the call.
I'm trying. I'm trying to bring friends from high school.
I love that.
And I want to just end, if I could, we have not a question, but I just want to say, this is from one of our alumni attendees, that all of this makes me so proud to be a Hollins alumna. Hollins is so clearly moving in a positive, meaningful, and impactful direction. We are so lucky to have President Hinton at the helm. And I just think that really wraps up and puts a beautiful bow on our time together tonight on the great work that is being done. And Mary, if you want to close us out, I know it's Giving Tuesday,
Absolutely.
But I'll let you close us out. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. Thank you to all 100 of you who were with us this evening. We are so excited. I want to particularly thank, of course, Dr. Nakeshia Williams, all of our students, Zoe, Egypt, Israela, Bailey, Jaya, thank you. A big thanks to our team behind the scene, Leah and Tommy. A very special thanks to Susie Mink, who's with us, and Anita Walton, our incoming VPIA. And thanks to all of you. Maya Angelou wrote, "May gratitude be the pillow upon which you kneel to say your evening prayers." And please know that I give thanks for each and every one of you on a daily basis. You make Hollins home, and I am honored to be a part of this community and family. I wish you happiness and peace and joy as we enter the season of light. We are grateful for you and look forward to welcoming you home one day soon. Levavi Okulos.